Yeah.
Early on in your farming career, you're like, okay, can I feel this?
Hey, we've got a visitor. Good. So you don't have okay. Yeah, sure. What will you be coming down on 9 or?
Just Asher and I today on the farm.
Oh yeah, no. Okay. And we'd had that one 5-inch rain that we got in August, and but that did not turn out to be the end of the dry weather. It just kept on being dry after that until last week when we got 6 inches of rain all at once. So it was one of those years when it was either nothing or all at once. We got like 13 inches of rain during the body of the growing season, and 11 of those 13 inches came in 2 shots. But so the crew just kept running the irrigation everywhere. That did get easier because as the season progresses, we're planting fewer and fewer beds of crops, and we're taking more and more beds out of production, so we're trying to cover less ground. And then with the dramatic decrease in daylight that happens around the fall equinox, September 21st, 22nd, with that dramatic decrease in day length, there's a lot less evaporation and growth slows down, so the plants are just transpiring a lot less. So it just became a lot easier to handle the fact that it wasn't raining. The weather stayed pretty warm through all of September. We had 1 week of cooler weather in September, but September by and large was to the warm side of seasonal, which kept things growing nicely. And some of the warm weather crops kept going longer than we often count on them. The eggplants put on a tremendous late summer, early fall showing this year. I think we harvested 400 pounds of them one day, and we harvest the eggplants 3 days a week anyway, and one of those days was 400 pounds from our 3 little beds of eggplant. Today it feels a little more fall-like, high only in the 50s. Today is Monday, October 4th, high only in the 50s, overcast, drizzling a little bit right now. And it's supposed to only be in the 60s for the foreseeable future, a few more showery days. So we've definitely, it's not just the calendar that's turned the corner, not just the sun that's turned the corner, but the weather has turned a bit of a corner for us. And so we still have plenty of fresh food out in the fields, lots of greens. Other thing, yeah, the greens that we're continuing to harvest on a daily or on a fresh basis, right before CSA distribution. But the last month has seen us turn our hands to harvesting and dealing with some of the more some of the storage crops that we do. We're starting to think about next year. We start to do the budget at this time of year, but that's not very exciting or visual. Oh well, we sit down and we think about, okay, were we happy with the staffing plan for this year? How's it going to change for next year? So for example, since we have an 11-month-old, so my wife was home with her most of the season. Wendy was entirely off farm this year. but we'll pick up a little bit of daycare for our youngest. And so Wendy will be back on the farm. We'll probably go to a split schedule. So instead of me being full-time on the farm and Wendy being full-time off the farm, we'll probably, I don't know, both be 75 or 80% on the farm, and the balance of our time with the kiddos, which is a fun. I've liked the years when that's how we worked it with our first daughter. It's been a lot of fun to have a bit more time with the kids than I've had this year. So, you know, we'll take things like that into account, figure out how many folks we want on our crew, and you know, our market's pretty stable, so we just kind of usually plug in a small share increase into the budget. Think about what equipment we desperately want or need, try to budget for that. We sit down with Excel spreadsheets. That's what we do.